is very good.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast with me, Jack Hope, Max Rowe Brown. How are you doing, Max?
Hello, yeah, not bad, thank you, Jack. How are you?
Not too bad. And Ross Legg. How are you doing, Ross?
Marvellous, thanks, mate. Very excited to speak to Luke Fletcher later on in the show.
Don't spoil it, I was just about to intro that. Anyway, tonight, or today, or whenever you're listening to the Cricket Podcast, we will be talking about 2020's dramatic turnaround. Trump's gone, the vaccine is coming, and England are back in action. That's right, we'll be previewing the T20 series against South Africa. But that's not all the cricket we'll be talking about. Australia will be taking on India, and New Zealand host the West Indies. Finally, we're building to this crescendo, the Bulwell bomber, the quote, funniest man in cricket, a 2020 T20 Blast winner, Luke Fletcher, will be joining us as a guest. I think it's going to be a classic, fellas. What do you reckon?
As I said, I'm super excited to have the funniest man in cricket on there. There's a lot to live up to with that moniker, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Northampton Post don't throw things like the funniest man in cricket around without good reason. So, yeah,
I definitely think it's the Nottinghamshire Post,
whatever,
but, you know,
mate.
either one.
His reputation transcends county boundaries.
Before we get into England and South Africa and India and Australia and Luke Fletcher, how about an irreverent question?
As always, I'm all ears. What is the question this week?
So this week, inspired by Joe Biden, who is preparing for office in the United States, my question for you boys is, which cricketer do you think would make the best president? Let's start with Ross.
Well, there is some precedent to this president thing, isn't there? Here, Imran Khan, obviously Prime Minister, all pretty close.
Yeah.
For Pakistan. Mohammed Nabi is actually dubbed Mr. President by Kevin Peterson. Probably some of our listeners, if we're going to be honest, would like to see Michael Vaughan in a similar kind of thing. They probably quite like him. But I'm thinking here, you need a safe pair of hands. You need someone who's gritty and determined and not scared to make the tough decisions. And he's kind of almost a little bit intimidating. So I've gone with Andy Flower.
Oh, not too bad, I think. What do you do when Andy Flower annoys like some of the big players in on the world stage?
Well, you have to go through a serious rehabilitation process with whoever you've fallen out with. Bring them back into the fold. Use the UN as the mechanism to kind of make it work.
Okay, yeah, I think I can see Andy Flower as a good president. He protested against Zimbabwe, so I think he'd stand up for his principles as well. Yeah, good one, Ross. Max, it could be quite tricky to beat that one.
Yeah, I've gone for a slightly different approach to this. So for me, I think it would be Stuart Broad for the following reasons. Firstly, captained England to T20 World Cup glory, proven track record of leadership, right?
Was he the England captain for that?
Yeah, he was. Can you believe it? Secondly,
are you sure that wasn't Paul Collingwood?
I'm pretty sure it was Stuart Broad, wasn't it?
I feel like it was Paul Collingwood.
I don't feel like we'd hear the end of it if Stuart Broad had actually been the captain for that.
Let's just assume he was for the purposes of this argument.
Perhaps he was. Perhaps we've just airbrushed that from history.
Max is making a good point. Max is making a good point. We're in the disinformation age, Max.
Yeah.
Straight in.
Yeah. If not, he did at least bring with him the revolution of slow ball bouncers that led us to win that. So he had the innovations to lead his country to glory, and that's what you need as a president. So that's one thing. The second thing for me is he has the arrogance to make the tough decisions. That's clear for all to see, and as shown by him not walking when edging the ball to slip. That's the kind of resoluteness you need in the top office. And thirdly, for me, he's got that Justin Trudeau prettiness about him, so that if anything did come out in the press, such as a questionable fancy dress costume in his younger years, people would still vote for him.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I think interesting's the right word.
Yeah, I feel like you've taken all of some of the worst qualities that you could find in a president and go, yes, this is what I want.
Well, it's 2020, Ross. It's what the people want.
Yeah. Oh, no, look, we don't mock each other too much around here, or at least we're not going to. I'm gonna turn down the opportunity to go down the mocking tangent here, and I'm going to say that was a good suggestion from you, Max.
I think I prefer the mocking to the condescension.
Jack, who do you think would make a great?
So it is a tough question, mainly because most of the cricketers I can think of would make dreadful presidents. There's a much longer list of definite no's than maybes or yeses. I had to resist the temptation. Normally, on these little intro questions, when I'm in doubt, I just say David Gower and come up with a reason later. And people are like, David Gower, yeah, he'd be able to do that. But I haven't gone down that. I thought about it properly, and I've gone with a candidate who I think has proven leadership credentials. They've got steel, determination, they've got vision. Someone who would never settle for a second best, either from their team or themselves. He was instrumental in turning his nation into a cricketing superpower. One of the Graham's great orators, Steve Waugh.
One of the Graham's great orators. That has to be my favourite bit.
Graham's great orator. Steve Waugh.
Spoken like a true orator.
Yeah. Apparently, Steve Waugh's actually been asked to stand for office by the Australian Labor Party. But
Well, I feel like
no.
that's cheating, isn't it?
Well, no, he said no, though, isn't he? He's not actually... Imran Khan would be cheating.
Right, yeah.
Now... but he said no. And I think all good political leaders are people who don't really want the job, because people who do want the power, they're bad. They're bad news.
Jeremy Corbyn didn't want the job. He was excellent.
He loved the job, mate. Don't tell me that Jeremy Corbyn didn't want that job. He lived for that job.
Jeffrey Boycott would have been awful. Kevin Peterson, awful.
It's a lot. Anyway, that's that. Ross, do you want to let people know where they can find us on the internet?
Yes, on Twitter and on Instagram at the Cricket Pod. You should follow us. You should also follow us on Spotify, or whichever podcast platform you listen to us on, and subscribe on Apple or iTunes, whatever it's called. And leave a review and share with one of your friends.
Yes, because we have some good stuff coming up, and I think we're able to announce it at this point. So next week we will be joined by a man who finished joint 6th in this season's or this year's Dancing on Ice.
Whoa, that's a pretty big name.
A man who goes by the nickname Sexual Chocolate.
Nice.
And a man who won the T20 World Cup either under Stuart Broad or Paul Collingwood. I'm not sure.
Maybe he was in charge. Maybe it was Sidebottom.
Yeah, that could be our first question, can't it?
Yeah, it is Ryan Sidebottom. So we're talking to him on Thursday. We won't announce that on Twitter. So if you until after we've done the interview. So if you have a question for Ryan Sidebottom, and you've listened to this, you'll be able to slide that in to our DMs or appropriate receptacle for a message, and we'll ask that to Ryan. So that'll be on next week's show.
We might ask it, depending on the question. Let's not unqualifiedly say we will ask it.
And then 2 weeks later, we will be joined by Daniel Norcross to ruminate on the England v South Africa cricket series that we will be previewing today. So good, exciting stuff coming up on the Cricket Podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're going to take a break and we'll come back
So yes, let's talk about cricket. South Africa are hosting England in a 6-match series. Jack, after your strong intro earlier that you've clearly spent more than 5 minutes on, do you have another one for this series?
No, what I've actually done is mainly what I did today, I didn't think that much about the cricket, to be honest. I mainly thought about the transition from the IPL to international cricket. And I think if we're being honest with ourselves, we really thrive, and I mean by we, I mean the cricket podcast. We really thrive on the international game. And that's not just because we get twice the number of listeners when England are playing. That's part of it, but that's not the only thing. I think what we actually thrive on is the rawer, more unpolished, often meaningless drama that you get in international cricket that the IPL doesn't necessarily deliver. Because
the famously dramaless IPL.
Well, no, but see, the thing with the IPL is that all of the drama is derived from the sport. You don't get situations, as I was thinking about this, you don't get situations like Stuart Broad being dropped, ranting to a national audience, getting repicked, taking loads of wickets, and then finishing his summer by attacking a journalist on Twitter. That doesn't happen in the IPL, because everyone's getting paid, it's all like produced, the commentators are talking about the outros, so they don't have time to talk to Stuart Broad. Whereas international cricket, it's mayhem. The other thing is, like in the IPL, we're not at the point where people have grown up dreaming about playing for the Rajasthan Royals. So you're not seeing players who have achieved like their life's work playing, or sometimes having their life's work taken away from them, which I think you miss out on the juicy stuff. I don't think that Joss Buttler has a go at Vernon Philander's gut at the IPL. I don't think
the visceral side of the game.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Stokes threatens to hit a child with glasses at the IPL, and I don't think Rabada celebrates like he's gonna rip off Joe Root's head at the IPL, which is a long-winded way of getting to the point, which is that England are taking on South Africa in some T20s this weekend. Are you excited, Max?
Yeah, I am, because there's not been any international cricket for quite a long time, and as you've sort of put into words, there is a certain something about it that's a little different, isn't there? The IPL was great, but time for something else.
You like the smell of blood, Max, don't you? That's what you like, the war, you like the battle between two nations. That's what you're living for.
Yeah, preferably with guns, but cricket will do, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, you know what I compared this to? This weekend, as you all know, fellas, I made a hibiscus cheesecake. Hibiscus and white chocolate cheesecake, actually. And it was quite big. It was a 22-centimetre tin, so it's a huge cheesecake. And that cheesecake reminded me a little bit of the IPL. It's big, it's sweet, it's really delicious.
This has gone off the rails.
But I'm happy that there are some people to share it with. Like for the IPL, I was happy to share that experience with you. But I wouldn't want to eat a whole cheesecake or consume a whole IPL by myself. Whereas with international cricket, it's a bit more like a vegetable wrap. Do you know what I mean? It's got the constituent parts, it's healthy. I would very much like to eat a vegetable wrap by myself. And that's what we've got here, is a nice England v South Africa vegetable wrap.
I was hoping where you were going with that is that you were going to announce that you're leaving the podcast and doing something by yourself for the international games, but we'll keep you around, it's fine. So where should we start with this? Should we start with South Africa's team, or should we start with England's team?
Well, how about we start with South Africa? Should we mention when the games are to begin with? So we are talking about the T20 series. There are games on Friday evening, Sunday evening and Tuesday evening, or Tuesday afternoon, depending on your time zone, in Cape Town and Paarl. We're heading into the final straight before the T20 World Cup now, so there's definitely places on the line. We'll talk about South Africa in a second, England in a second. Ross, South Africa.
Well, I think first off, it has to be mentioned that Cape Town is probably
Cape Town.
Ground. Huh? Cape Town.
You just said Cake Town, mate.
Well, that's where I thought we were going with the cheese. Cape Town or Cape Town, that is one ground I would love to play at. It just looks beautiful, doesn't it? It's unbelievable. But there's plenty to be said and admired about the England side. But I think they're over a very tough tour. especially the T20 games. So let's start with the big dogs in the South African side, who lit up the IPL 2020. At the top of the order, you're going to have Captain de Kock, who loves hitting runs against England. And fresh from his IPL triumph with the Mumbai Indians, he'll be brimming with confidence, which is going to be relatively intimidating, especially places like Paarl. Faf du Plessis was the bright light in the ever-dim CSK batting lineup up until the final couple of games, and demonstrated that he's not only a good fielder, he's a showboat fielder. So I think what we're in line for there is some great catching, but also there's a high chance of risk. So you could easily see him completely cock one up, which is what we always want to see. And then finally the batting power that we got to see in the IPL from David Miller. If you don't remember, he had an IPL. To be fair, to forget, he played one game. He was run out without facing, and then didn't get picked again. So with that kind of brutality in your middle order, you know what you're going to get. So pretty good so far, I think. Out of those three players, you've got some seriously good T20 pedigree. But let's take another step towards the bowling, and they've got the dynamic Delhi duo of Rabada, purple cap winner, Nortje, they're both going to cause problems for England. They're both fast. I think between them they had the 10 top fastest balls in the IPL.
Were they all Nokia?
Rabada. And then Ngidi actually impressed as well for CSK with the games that he actually did play. I think he's really developing into a very, very useful pace bowler. So out of the IPL teams, that gives you a pretty good spine of the IPL players. It gives you a good spine of 5 or 6, meaning there's plenty up for grabs. As I'm doing loads of the talking, out of those people, who do you think is going to be essentially key? So building on that IPL form, who do you think is going to cause England real problems?
Right, so my opinion is that South Africa are going to have to quite heavily rely on de Kock with the bat. Now, he's not the worst person to rely on. If you were going to pick someone to rely on, he'd be on your shortlist, wouldn't he? But I do think that they might be a little bit light on the newer style of T20 batsmen. So I think, I mean, de Kock as captain as well, probably is their key man, wouldn't you say, Max?
Yeah, I think so. The fact that he's in such good form from the IPL will sort of, I suppose they'll be hoping that he carries that on, and without AB de Villiers there to dig them out of whatever hole they might end up in, he should come back, shouldn't he?
Well, there's the rumours around it, and Mark Boucher has left the door open for him. It would have been great to see him play. Yeah, it would have been good.
So I think, to be honest, I think putting it all on de Kock is maybe unfair with the likes of Faf around as well. But I think it's certainly fair to say that there's a limited number of people that you can hope will go.
I actually think probably South Africa's second best T20 batsman is Temba Bavuma. I don't think Faf is their second best batsman, so he would be the next guy I'd be worried about. On de Villiers, I think the rumour is now that he might come back after the next IPL. So there are no official ICC tournaments between now and the beginning of the next IPL. The thinking is he'll rest, maybe play that IPL, then come back. But I think Boucher's said he has to come back and play some of the games in the run-up to the T20 tournament, or T20 World Cup, which I think would happen about this time next year, maybe slightly earlier than this time next year, so a few months in advance of that.
What a story that would be.
Well, we've got rid of the Messiah in terms of AB de Villiers, so let's focus on some of the lesser-known names. Spin-wise, they have Maharaj with his darts, Shamsi, who caused some issues in the ODIs earlier in the year against England, and the man so good they named him twice, John Smuts.
I think their spin will be decent. I think South African spinners are slightly underrated. I mean, everyone knows about Imran Tahir, and Imran Tahir has been the mainstay of their spin attack for, basically a decade. Now that he's moved on, I think there is actually a little bit of talent there. So I think that could be the trouble. I mean, South Africa, I think, are a little bit of an imbalanced side in that I think their bowling is good, but I'm not all over their batting, as I sort of elucidated on already.
Yeah. Well, let me get on to their batting. So I think de Kock is going to be joined at the top of the order by Janaman Milan, who has a strike rate of over 135, an average of 32 in his kind of T20 career. He's only played a couple of T20 international games, so there's definitely some potential there. So we'll see how he does.
No
But
David though, is he?
Yeah, that's the rivalry we really want.
Milan on Milan.
And well, Rassie van der Dusen, so who kind of reminds me of Pinky from Pinky of the Brain. And he's pretty good. He's pretty at the World Cup, but he's more of a he's kind of like KL Rahul. He's kind of like he's a stat padder. Like, he really cares about himself getting out, values his wicket quite highly, and actually, as we know in T20 cricket, that's not the best way to be playing. And then, of course, the man who's got the best run out of all time to his name, Temba Bavuma. He's a great value. He's great value. It's great to see him back in the side. So there's some good talent there. However, where I think they fall down, where I think England are actually much better, is kind of in that all-rounder department. They've got
Peffer
that's the one. Both Hendricks with Biran bowling the kind of coveted left arm fast.
And Jimmy on guitar.
And they've also got Lutho Sipamla, who is 22, coming through the ranks at the moment, looks to be a useful kind of backup. But again, it's almost like the good and bad IPL teams, if we're going to continue the IPL trend. It's the ones where they've got some really solid stars, but actually their supporting cast just isn't that strong.
Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of names here that I recognise from the One Day World Cup, and there was like a hope, wasn't there, amongst the younger players that they would come to the fore, and they didn't really perform. So South Africa will be looking to them to step up a bit more now.
Yeah, I agreed. And I think what is clear is that, I mean, at that World Cup, they were absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Whatever they do in this series is going to be better than what happened in the World Cup, so that's a positive that they can take away from it. I think it's a team that shouldn't be underestimated. I think they'll probably pick up 1 or 2 wins against England. I think England sometimes underestimate teams like this, so it should be interesting to see. But as you said, they've got some match winners in there, and we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah. We'll do predictions at the end, but I'd probably disagree on how many wins they're going to pick up. England. So England actually had a warm-up match today. So we are talking on Monday, the 23rd of November, 2020. If you're one of those people that does the back catalogue, thank you. We'll just take a moment to appreciate you. On this day, Team Morgan took on Team Butler. I don't think we really learned anything from this. So Team Morgan, they batted first and they scored 140. I'm not going to bother going into who was playing for both sides because that would be really boring. Team Butler won. Performances, Ollie Stone took 3 wickets. Yeah. Stokes and Bairstow batted 10 and 11.
Yeah, well, that's England's new tactic, isn't it? It's finish strong.
Yeah. Anyway, so they've had their warm-up game. I don't think that'll affect how the teams are picked. I think England have probably 2 big questions to answer, and I think they will use these games against South Africa and the games against India in the New Year and then Pakistan for the T20 World Cup to answer basically these issues. First of all, it's their top 4. So the top 4, England have 4 players that don't really fit into 3, if that makes sense. They have Jason Roy, they have Jos Buttler, they have Johnny Bairstow, and they have Dawid Malan. But it's hard to open with 3 players in cricket. So my question to you basically is solve England's batting problems, please, Max.
You shouldn't forget Tom Banton as well. He's also got his name in the hat a little bit.
I think Tom Banton's had his chance.
He's in the reserve.
Yeah.
Bunch anyway. He's not even in the squad at the moment. So let's just focus on those who might actually play. Let's not complicate it too much. Here I am stalling for time while I make a decision. I would actually drop Jason Roy for this one.
Drop?
Yeah, because Bairstow and Butler have been playing in the IPL and they've been playing all right. So I'd say they go in. And Dawid Malan's record in T20 is so good.
Well, he's the number 1 in the world, Max.
Yes.
He's an indisputable champ.
I think you have to play him. He doesn't actually... I don't remember him not performing particularly well at any stage for England in T20s. But he just sort of flies under the radar because he's not one of the know,
Cameron
flamboyant
Milan does
big
not fly
boys.
under the radar. He's the number one ranked batsman in the world of T20.
Max got a very high radar.
I'm not talking about being ranked where you are ranked in the world, Ross. I'm talking about the coverage they get.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. Ross, how would you solve the England opener / number 3 problem?
Well, Rajasthan Royals had this issue, right? And Stokes ended up opening up and did a pretty reasonable job in the end of the tournament. It took him a bit long to get there.
Just to get this clear, your solution to having too many people to open the batting is to bring in another opener.
Correct. No, I think they'll probably stick with. They've got to stick with Josh Buttler opening up. He's by far he's England's best T20 batsman. You want to give him as much time as possible to do it. He batted really well against Australia in the previous T20 series, so I can't see them saying, "Sorry, Josh, you're going to be dropped out of that." Bairstow played so well in the IPL that he ended up being dropped for Kane Williamson or Jason Holder, so not entirely sure it's kind of a shoe-in. But I think they love Jason Roy. They love that he's got the swagger, that he goes out and he just takes on absolutely anything. It's not worked out for him in the last kind of year or so for England post World Cup. So there's a big questions asked there, and he's only just coming back from fitness, so from an injury. So perhaps he might not play in the T20s all the time. He might play one game, maybe in the dead rubber when we're 2-0 up. But he'll probably stay for the ODIs. So I can see Johnny Bairstow and Josh Buttler opening up, I think.
Oh, see, I don't think that's the way they'll go, or that's not the way I would go. So fundamentally, and I'm not sure we've explained this problem that well. England have to pick 2 of those players, or 3 of those players in the top 3. They then probably bat Morgan at 4, and the other one at 5.
Well, Milan has to play. Milan is going to bat 3.
Well, yeah. So this is how I would probably do it. I would stick with the Bairstow-Roy axis of destruction. Mm-hmm. I would have Milan at 3. I'd have Morgan at 4 or Buttler at 4, and the other one at 5. I think, if you look at the skill set of those 4 players, I think Buttler is the only one who can play as a finisher. And for that reason, he has to be the one that plays as a finisher. He might be England's best. He might be England's best T20 batsman. I think you're probably right. But I think the difference between him as an opener and Roy as an opener is much smaller than Buttler as a finisher and almost anyone else in that England team as a finisher. I honestly don't see who the other player is.
So because we'd have what, Stokes at 6?
Well, I think possibly, but even then, Stokes might be 5. They might drop Morgan down. I mean, Morgan played almost as a finisher in quite a few games for KKR at the IPL.
I think the thing with England is
a few times. So I think Morgan might have been lining himself up for that role. But I think you kind of need 2 guys down there. You look at Mumbai Indians, probably the best T20 team in the world. Mm-hmm. They've got a bunch of guys who probably would be fantastic opening batsmen, but they play 5, 6, 7 and cause havoc game after game. And I think England's best route to mirroring what is an incredibly effective, probably the actual best way to play the game, is to have Buttler down there. So I don't think Roy and I don't think Bairstow and I don't think Milan can do that, but they can play 1, 2 and 3.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can get behind that logic. But yeah, it'll be
Should
interesting to see.
we talk about the other problem they have then?
Yep.
So it's bowling. I mean, there are 2 parts to cricket. If you're listening to this podcast to learn about the game, let's take a moment to appreciate you. With the bowling, so England's bowling unit in one-day cricket, you'd have to say that Mark Wood, Jofra Archer, and Adil Rashid are nailed-on picks for 3 of the 5 bowling options, which means 2 of Moeen Ali, Chris Jordan, Tom Curran, Chris Wokes, Ollie Stone and Sam Curran have to fill the other 2 positions. And I don't think that's nailed on either, so I expect them to maybe rotate through some of those players in the next 3 games, or in the 3 games against South Africa. If you had to pick a team for the beginning of the World Cup next year, who would you choose, Max?
That's tough, isn't it? I think you would probably go with, you're going to hate it, I'm going to say Sam Curran.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because just going to say it, just mainly going to say it to annoy you, actually. He makes things happen.
Okay. Who else are you going to pick to recover that travesty?
Chris Jordan.
He's gone for 4 paces.
I'm going to go Chris Jordan because I think he offers that ability with Yorkers at the death.
Ross, what do you think?
So, I think the issue we got is obviously Stokes does bowl, but he doesn't bowl very well in T20s, and he's been carted around before. And I think in T20 cricket, you need to have at least 2 good spin options.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the issue with England at the moment is that they don't have a backup for Adil Rashid, so Rashid has to play all the time.
Yes.
They don't really have Moeen Ali is an okay T20 bowler.
What about the lesser spotted Matt Parkinson?
He's not even in the squad.
Yeah, they've ditched him.
Yeah, so in good old England fashion of picking this guy in the squad for a year, and then when the games they could play and he could play,
and he's supposed to have a really good 2020 record as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually now know what he looks like, so that's pretty good. He's got blonde hair.
It's a step up.
So I think you have to pick a spinner, and it has to be Moeen Ali. I don't think the other spinners there are going to do themselves justice, are they? Is there?
Yeah, well, so I agree with that. And then who are you picking as the third pace bowler?
I actually think they won't play Mark Wood and Jofra Archer together all the time. I think some of the pitches might not allow for it, and they'll have to play Jordan and Tom Curran. But if they were going to play Jofra and Wood, I think they'll pick Tom Curran.
Oof. All right. So I've gone with Jordan. I think this is probably England's big weakness. I mean, the batting one we were just talking about. It's like, well, how do we fit these 4 amazing players into our team?
It's the opposite problem with this one, isn't it?
It is. It's like, how do we make some of these players that aren't world class or aren't elite level players maybe into, or how do we sneak them through a game? I don't think they can drop Wood and Archer. Because I think they're so much better than the other options. And I think as well, in the way T20's played now, or the theory behind T20 now, is that you have to be amazing at something. And Wood and Archer are amazing at bowling really quickly. So I think they're in.
And that is what England like at the moment.
Yeah. Adil Rashid's an amazing spinner. I saw this week, on the topic of England's spin options not being great, he has bowled 55% of England's spin overs in T20 cricket in the last couple of years. So in a lot of games, England aren't even taking a second spinner. But that's miles more than any other frontline spinner in terms of percentage of overs bowled. I think you have to have Moeen Ali. And I think you can protect Moeen Ali a little bit when he has his weird games, or if the other team's got a lot of right-handers or whatever he doesn't want to bowl to, by using Stokes. I mean, not ideal, but Stokes can bowl serviceable overs. And I think probably Chris Jordan offers the best other option.
I think we previewed the Australia series, and we said around what is Tom Curran going to bring to the party, and actually he's a junior version of Liam Plunkett. He kind of bowls into the surface. It worked really well in England, and actually the conditions aren't too dissimilar in South Africa when they're playing. So actually that might be the route they kind of go into.
Yeah, possibly. Anyway, we will see, and we will keep you abreast of developments. Fellas, shall we make some predictions?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Max, you can go first.
So we want winner of the series, and we want who will score the most runs and take the most wickets. Max.
Right. England are going to win the series, but South Africa are going to win the first game.
Very specific.
Coming out of the IPL with slightly better form. That's my top take. In terms of individual performances, Jofra Archer is going to absolutely clean up with the ball, and I think probably with the bat, it's if England are going to win, got to go for another Englander.
Yes.
Englander, yes, that's the technical term. And I'm going to back Milan to come up with the goods.
Ross, what do you reckon?
So I would have probably gone with some of those options, Max. It's pretty good. But I think Rashid's going to be the best bowler. England will win 2-1. I think South Africa are going to beat us one game. And then in terms of the best batsman, I think it's going to be Josh Buttler.
Oh, I am going to go England 3-0, which is probably not going to happen. I never go England 3-0 though, so I might as well do it for these games. England 3-0, Adil Rashid, best bowler, obviously, and I think de Kock, top runs. Anyway, nice. That's England v South Africa, which will be taking place starting on Friday. We will take a really short break, and then we will come back with the other cricket happening in the world.
So yeah, apart from England playing South Africa this week, there are 2 other series that are getting underway on Friday. So that is Australia, who are playing India in some ODIs, some T20s and 4 tests. And then a little further south, we have the West Indies touring New Zealand. So starting with Australia-India, I think for India, the main thing is questions about the fitness of Rohit Sharma, the absence for the final 3 tests of Virat Kohli, and in the white ball sphere, you've got the, as we mentioned during the IPL, Washington Sundar coming into the side for the T20s. So, I mean, aside from that, it's all very much as you'd expect for them. The same sort of team, a lot of names that you'll recognise from the IPL. But
Is the Rohit Sharma fitness issue an injury, or is it like a lockdown girth issue?
It's his hamstring, which he injured during the IPL and came back from to play in the final because it was only a short game. But he's missing the white ball series and coming back for the tests because he wants to do a bit of strength and conditioning on his hamstring. He was a little perplexed as to why everyone was getting so confused about what was going on with that, but he has now cleared that up, so he will be joining the team for the Red Bull Series, which will be quite important for them, bearing in mind Virat Kohli is leaving after the first test for the birth of his first child. So that's an average of 55 in Australia that will be missing, and a gap that will need plugging.
I think he's got his priorities in the wrong order there.
Yeah, I agree. My entertainment is much more important than Virat Kohli's future child, as far as I'm concerned. I think Australia are going to beat India in the white ball and the Test cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe quite comfortably. So I think, you've got, compared to the last time when India actually did quite well, you've got Warner and Smith back. Warner was making noises about retiring from international cricket, so I reckon it's his maybe last or second last summer. No, he'll do next summer because it's the Ashes.
Yeah.
Might have 2 more Australian summers left from him. He'll want to score runs. I feel like Kohli walking away or leaving is tough. And I just think Australia's bowlers in all formats are so good. Yeah, so there you go. That's what I think about that.
Yeah. I mean, from the Australian point of view, it's quite exciting actually for Australia. They're for the Test team, certainly at least. There's 5 uncapped players in the Test squad. A couple of names that you'll recognise, Sean Abbott being one of those, and Michael Nees is the other. But there's also a young opener, Will Pukovski, who's coming into the squad, and that will be the main question for them. Whether he gets to play instead of Joe Burns, because Joe Burns has been a bit iffy, and Pukovski.
Was it Harris who played in England as well?
Ryan Harris, yeah.
I don't think he's anywhere
Not
near.
Ryan Harris. Not Ryan
Harris. Sorry.
Opening batsman, not the guy
the other one.
who cleaned us up many times.
He's back in grade cricket, the other one.
Not him.
Yeah.
So Will Pukovski's first 2 games in the Sheffield Shield this year, he's scored a double hundred in each.
Not a bad start.
Although, to be fair, the first one was part of a 486-run opening stand, so I assume it was a complete road. But yeah, he will be vying against Joe Burns for that spot, which will be quite interesting. I think he's the most likely to get a go. The other exciting guy to come in is Cameron Green, who's also in the white ball setup, so keep an eye on those games to see if he gets to play. But he was described by Greg Chappell as the most talented batsman he's seen since Ponting, and he's also 6'7" and bowls, so that's quite a prospect.
Fierce, isn't it? Right, West Indies. They're
West
in New
Indies.
Zealand.
Yeah, slightly short series for this one, just 3 T20s and 2 tests. I guess the 2 big things for New Zealand are no Williamson and no Bolt in the T20 games, as they've been rested for the tests, and Lockie Ferguson was left out of the test squad, which is a shame for him, but he's got a real battle on his hands to displace Bolt, Southey, Wagner and Carl Jamieson, who grabbed the chance.
I'm pretty sure it's Wagner, not Wagner.
No, I prefer it as Wagner.
Richard Wagner.
No, I prefer it as Wagner.
19th century German classical composer Richard Wagner.
Well, if you've seen him bowl, it's really akin to the music.
Yeah.
So I think, there's not much to say for New Zealand. It's pretty much the normal squad that you'd expect.
I think they're going to win that, aren't they? New Zealand at home are fierce.
Yes, they are. But West Indies are. They do welcome back Bravo, Hetmeyer, and Chemo Paul, who were notable absentees earlier in the summer. So they've strengthened up, but they've also not got Andre Russell for the T20, so they're not going to win those. That's for sure.
He's in the Lankan Premier League. I've got a little bit of news on that, which I think you'll appreciate, boys.
Yeah.
The Gaul Gladiators have suffered 3 setbacks. So the first setback, Sarfraz has been picked for Pakistan. That happens. People get picked for their international team. Second setback, Lasith Malinga has pulled out as captain, citing a lack of preparation.
What?
He just could not have foreseen that this scheduled cricket tournament was going to take place. I think
imagine how big his gut is now?
we all know what's happened there.
Yeah.
And Shahid Afridi missed his flight. So he's going to miss the first 2 matches of the tournament. I don't know anything about the Lankan Premier League, but
It's not looking good for the Gaul Gladiators.
it looks bad.
It sounds like something we should be following a bit more closely.
Yeah. Right, fellas, shall we wrap that up and then proceed with our interview?
We should indeed. We've got Luke Fletcher on the show from Nottinghamshire and Trent Rockets.
Yes.
So he's been, as we said at the top of the show, dubbed the funniest man in cricket. So let's hope he brings his A game in the interview. We hope you enjoy it. We love hearing from our listeners, so please follow us at The Cricket Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Or if you have a great story, like Scotty G did, about the Hayden Way, Matthew Hayden's personal website, we want to hear about it. So from wherever you're from, send us in a great story and we'll read out on the show. Email us on thecricketpod@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Today we are joined by a man who has over 500 wickets in professional cricket. He's been a Nottinghamshire player for over a decade. He's a 2020 T20 Blast winner. We'll be seeing him play for the Trent Rockets next season. They call him the Bulwell Bomber. He's recently published his autobiography, and according to Chris Nash, he's a part-time football hooligan. Welcome to the Cricket Podcast, Luke Fletcher. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, and I'm not a hooligan. This is why I've come on this podcast, because I did listen to it. So whenever Nashy does something, I do always listen to what he says because it's quite amusing. But he's got the story's right, but it's wrong in a way because I didn't spit on anybody. I was basically dribbling down just to try and hit the same spot. There was no fans' underwear I was dribbling down at all, so I wasn't gobbing on away fans. I was just trying to hit the same spot. But yeah, I got done for that.
Yeah. Is it that boring being a Notts Forest fan?
Well, it's called Nottingham Forest first. You can't say Notts Forest. It's Notts County.
Yeah, that's the county, isn't it, Jack?
I know which one it is.
Yeah. So don't come to Nottingham saying that because you might get beat up.
I think we'll put that. That's an early bite. Maybe 2 early bites. I don't know.
I do like biting a lot of times. You can tell by my physique. So.
Right, well, we've got a nice easy question for you to start off. So, have you ever eaten a pencil?
Yes.
Yeah. Do we want to elaborate on the pencil story, or is it is it just too close to the bone?
Oh, really? It was a Christmas party, and you know what it's like. You have a few drinks and that, and you just start doing the odd daft thing. And basically, I got dared to eat a pencil, and I said I'll eat it, but you'll have to put some money in the pot. And there's about 150 quid there for me to eat this pencil. So I thought, you know what, I'll just get it down there. So I ate the pencil, took the 150 quid, and thank you very much. But it's probably one of the easiest things I've ever done.
I probably would eat a pencil for 150 quid.
Yeah,
Do it again.
Yeah.
I think the numbers stack up there.
Now that's been explained to me, it's not weird at all.
Yeah.
Well, when we start a stationary podcast, we can talk about that in more detail. So why don't we get back to the cricket, lads, shall we?
Yes, thank you, Ross. Yeah, you've been part of Nottinghamshire for well over a decade, and you've won the unofficial Triple Crown of County Championship, Royal London One Day Cup, and T20. But I mean, what's been your best moment in a Notts shirt?
I'd probably say winning the Lord's final against Surrey when Hale's got that.
Oh, don't say that.
Are you a Surrey fan? Yeah, so I'd probably say that day. That was a good day. But there's been quite a few, to be honest. So, I've been lucky playing at such a big club like Notts. They're always challenging in all formats. So, it's like I say, it's just fortunate that we get an opportunity to play in finals. So yeah, any finals that you're playing or days out at Edgbaston, they're great days. Yeah.
We've got you on the show partly because Chris Nash recommended you as a guest, and set us up with a few questions, but partly because you've written a book during lockdown, Tales from the Frontline, with was it Dave Bracegirdle?
Yeah.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the process of writing the book, why you wrote it, and where they can find it as well?
Yeah, well, the process was quite weird actually. Like Dave called me at the start of the first lockdown, and he sort of mentioned it about doing a book, and the first thing I said was no way. It'd be a bit of a waste of time with me. I'm a county cricketer, not played for England, never going to play for England. I've just been okay, you know what I mean, for a few years. But I'm actually looking into it, like, my way into cricket is a lot different to the average Joe. So then, there's been some quite interesting stories throughout my career. So it was quite nice to go back and relive them in a weird way. So Dave would ring me on a daily basis, and we'll sort of talk it through all the way since I first really started playing cricket. So back to primary school days, all the way to the present day now, signing with the Trent Rockets. So it was to fill a bit of time really, but in real truth, it was quite nice to relive a lot of the stories, and actually a lot of people got involved as well. I sent quite a few messages out to people I've played with, against, coaches, heroes. So Freddie Flintoff's in it. He does the forward. Stuart Broad, loads of people, and they all got back and helped me out and written some nice things in there. So it's quite a nice read, and it's the only book I've ever read. I'm not into reading books, and actually I had to read this one twice. So, and actually I find it quite funny. So, I think it's come across quite nice, but it's just basically my way into professional sport, which is a lot different to a lot of people coming through the system now.
How, to be blunt, how is it different?
Well, my last job, I was a chef at Hooters, so that's, there's not many sportsmen that come from.
Yeah, that's not the.
From Hooters. You know what I mean? You don't get many. I came from frying some chicken wings to opening the bowl with Ryan Sarbon within about 8-9 months. So, I mean, it's very different. So, I think a lot of people appreciate it really, because it's so different to your normal being in an academy setup since you were 12, going through all that, and then eventually breaking through. It's a lot different. That's all I say about it. It's very different.
Yeah. So was that through doing well in club cricket basically then?
Yeah. Well, I was in the not setup like under 15s to under 17s, and then I think at 17, if you didn't get an academy contract, that was sort of the end of the road. And I was never on the academy. I only just probably got in the age group stuff. And to be fair, I didn't dream of being a cricketer. I just got good at it, really.
So there was no standing outside of Hooters and being just like, I could have a go on that, and go just Trent Bridge. You can see it from Hooters, can't you?
No, I mean, you get people saying, "Oh, I dreamt of this moment and that," and I can honestly say I didn't. Obviously, the closer I got to it when I was about 18, 19, I played a few second team games and thought, "Oh, hold on a minute, I could actually make a living out of this." It's probably around then when I started taking it a bit more serious. But no, it sort of sprung up on me, county cricket, and it's crazy. I'm still there today.
So, what's the experience like then? So you go literally from Hooters to playing with a guy who will play 20 tests for England.
Just them. The Swanee was in there. There was Stuart Broad, Chris Reed, Mark Elam, Paul Franks, David Hussey. I was the year before. I was paying to go and watch him play T20. Mm-hmm. I remember being in the crowd. Do you remember when there was televised games? If you caught a catch in the ground, you got £1,000. Do you remember them days?
Yeah. Then people kept wiping out 5-year-olds.
Yeah. I actually caught a ball one day, but it wasn't on telly, so I was raging. Dominic Corkett won like in the top tier at Trent Bridge, and I was watching.
And they were like signing him up.
I was like, oh my god, not on telly. I could have had a grand. But yeah, I was paying to go and watch him on Friday nights, and then the next year I was in the dressing room. So yeah, I find it so surreal at first.
So who actually? So cricket is obviously a most professional sport, has become increasingly kind of very very professional, very serious, and kind of a lot of the personalities used to kind of get dramatised throughout the press. It's died down a little bit. Is there anyone who you think at the moment is the top county grinders almost? Is there people who are just way above, like kind of up here in terms of their preparation and just like super keen for it?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, there's loads of people. Yeah, there's loads. I'd say people like your Samit Patels. I mean, he's played for England, but he absolutely loves cricket. Like, he just don't think he likes the fitness side of it, obviously, but he every time he's playing cricket, he's like a little kid. He absolutely loves it, and we all love it to an extent. But we all love the odd rain session, the odd rained off session. You know what I mean, as well, just to put your feet up. But I mean, Samit's mad for it. I think he'll play until he can't play anymore. Yeah, I would say he's up there definitely.
Well, that could be another 20-odd years for him then, I think.
Hey, he's getting better and better. Yeah, as long as he stays away from the Colonel KFC, he'll be fine.
We've reached the end of the UK cricket season for our listeners abroad. What do you get up to? I mean, I've always sort of wondered this. What do county players get up to in the winter to stay in shape?
Well, it's a lot more. I'd say a lot more stricter now than what it used to be. We get October off, so we'll have about 5 weeks off, and then we report back early November, go through like the fitness test, and then you'll have a program. Basically takes you up till Christmas, so you'll do your gym stuff most days, batting and bowling, and then sort of when you get through Christmas, it soon creeps up. Mm-hmm. Usually back in the day you go on a pre-season tour, but a lot of clubs now are getting tents, like marquee tents up.
Yeah, actually, I think Anderson and Broad were bowling one, or there was a video.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. So you get them now, so you have them for a couple of months, so you can sort of be outdoors by the end of February, really.
And then you're playing a week later anyway.
And then you're up in Durham when it's snowing, trucking it out, trying to line up Chris Rushworth. It's impossible, isn't it? But Nash will tell you about that. His shin's still sore now.
Have you done anything sort of aside from the sort of standard club stuff in terms of keeping fit? Have you like played any football during the winter, that sort of thing?
I used to, yeah, but we're not really allowed anymore. I used to play five-a-side at Power League. It's called Power League in Nottingham. I don't know if there's one where your lads are from, but you go on like a Wednesday night and you play for an hour. We used to have a team in that, and then you'd have the Christmas Cup. We'd have a crack at that, but we're not allowed anymore.
I'm surprised they let you go down there at all, because I played down a similar sort of thing on a Tuesday, and it does tend to be about 45 minutes of people just kicking you.
Yeah, you're getting volleyed around. Yeah, it's chaos. But that was a while ago. That, I mean, no, we don't do too much now. I mean, we're not even allowed to play football in warm-ups anymore. That used to be the best day about cricket, really, is the warm-up.
We saw Rory Burns get injured for it last
you got him
last
to blame
year.
for that.
Well, I know, it's his fault. Nashy was there then. Did Nashy tell you about that? He said he was involved in the last ever game of football in cricket. He was there. He was coaching. He was doing some coaching with England, so he was there. He's partly to blame.
So if we can move on to something a little bit more serious, a few years ago you were involved in a pretty serious incident when Sam Hain of the Birmingham Bears smashed one back at you and the ball cannoned into your head. Probably a natural reaction from your footballing days at Power League, just to go on a natural nod it in. Let's start with the obvious question. Is Sam Hain unlucky not to be in the England setup?
How do you get in that England team? It's unbelievable, isn't it? I reckon if there was 10 teams, I still won't be in one. It's that good. There's that many players coming through the system. You'd probably say, yeah, he is unlucky. But who are you going to pick him in front of? He's a similar player to Joe Root, I suppose, isn't it? The way he goes about it, his sort of strike rate and that. But you're not dropping Joe Root, and Joe Root can bowl a bit as well. So I can't see how he's going to get in.
This happened a while ago now. I'm assuming everything's all right now? You're all good?
I think so, yeah. I feel all right. I get the odd headache here and there, but I think that's when I've had too many yards. Actually, weirdly enough, now at the start of every season, you have to do like a concussion test. So you've got sort of a baseline where you're at. So I did that before. I got hit on the head, that the start of that season, we were flying to Barbados, and I'd been out in Manchester the night before, so I was a bit dusty on the flight. And I sort of answered the questions and got a few right, a few wrong. I think in the end I got about 83% or something. And then when I got hit on the head, they obviously retested me in hospital, and I got 100%. So they were like, "Oh my God, he's improved." They're like, there's nothing wrong with him.
Some kind of superhero.
Yeah, I was just hung over on a flight to Barbados.
Well, Paul Nixon a couple of weeks ago told us he thought bowlers should be bowling in kind of headgear or skull caps, is what he called them.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered the kind of Peter Cech look?
Yeah, so for a while, the England doctor kept coming around my house. So when I got hit, obviously was out for the season, and I kept getting like regular checkups. And Nick Pearce, his name is, he was coming around, and he said that they were discussing it quite a lot. I think it's I think it's very difficult to get something for bowlers. It needs to be comfy, and I think them skull caps would be comfy, but I'm not sure how much impact they'd have. I mean, if the ball comes straight in your face anyway, you're knackered, aren't you? So, but I'm sure they'd be better than nothing. But I've just never really took it any further.
Fair enough.
But
yeah, and you just thinking like the bat speed of someone like Alex Hales is just ridiculous.
I know. I don't even train now. I don't net with a white ball anymore. I go off on my own and like do some drills. So I don't bowl it, but I don't like to bowl at batters. I might have to do it every now and again, but you just bowl short so they can't hit it back again. I think you don't want to bowl too full, because it's amazing how many near misses there is.
Yeah, I think it's quite surprising that it doesn't happen more often. I mean, obviously
Exactly.
you were the unlucky person to be an example, but yeah, I mean, like you say, with the ball flying around as it does, it's a crazy thing. I mean,
but that's in the book. There's a good section in the book on that. So if people are interested, then get the book.
Yeah. Very nicely done. It's good to hear that everything's all right as it is now, and looking sort of forward to the future. You are the first person that we've spoken to on the show that will be taking part in the 100 as a player.
Well, I'll have to stop you there, because as it stands at the minute, I am, but I could get released.
Right, because there's still some changes to be made.
They could. I mean, yeah, they could release me, but yeah, it'd be a bit disappointing, because there's a section in the book with me with a Trent Rockets shirt on and a picture, so that'll be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Well, you could make that your main case in the defence.
Oh,
you can't do this.
I'm printing off thousands of books here, and I'm not even playing. It'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? But yeah, anyway, let's just pretend I'm playing, shall we?
Yeah, with an optimistic slant. Do you have a full understanding of the rules of the 100 at the moment? Have they briefed you?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't. No, I don't.
Do you reckon, have you got a 10-ball over in your locker?
If there's a couple of wides in there, I'll be blowing out my arse. I think I'd rather go 5 and 5. You know what I mean? I don't want 10 in a row. I think it depends, because if you was to get a wicket on your 5th ball, then you'd probably carry on, wouldn't you? You bowl at a new batsman, and I don't know if the ball's swinging or whatever, but yeah, I'd rather go 5 and 5, I think.
Where the 100 is impressed is obviously they pitched it as like attracting women and children to the game, and then they also timed it with kind of like healthy food eating, and then Trent Rockets are sponsored by Skips. So
yeah, I was raging. I was hoping they'd be like Monster Munch or something like that. No, I'm not a fan. I wanted Skips or Doritos. I'd have been happy with Doritos. Chili Heatwave.
Yeah, I was going to say that's surely a specific flavour of Doritos, because there's a lot of
Chili Heatwave.
Yeah.
It sounds like with the 10 ball overs and the rules confusion, that there's a bit of trepidation, or a bit of you're a bit unsure about the 100. Are you actually looking forward to it? I mean, in all seriousness, if you get picked up by the Trent Rockets, are you excited to play?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. When the draft came out, because the season before I was in and out of the Notts team. It's difficult to get in that Notts team because they only play 2 seamers. Bear in mind, you've got Harry Gurney, Jake Ball, Dan Christian, so it's tough to get in that team. I only played about 5 or 6 games, so I didn't expect to get picked up in the draft. So I was watching it, and obviously goes down, and I swear 100% I did not expect to get picked, and I wouldn't have even batted an eyelid. I wasn't bothered. And then when my name flashed up, I thought someone had pressed the wrong button. I thought, this can't be right. I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. So yeah, I was buzzing for it. But when they started mentioning it last year, when they saying they might play it in front of no crowds, that sort of, I lost a bit of excitement then. But yeah, I can't wait to. Hopefully, I get retained, and I'd love a crack at it, because I think if you can play against the best players in the world and do well, it opens up so many different windows, doesn't it, of opportunity of going and playing these franchise tournaments, which would be amazing for someone of my age and my the time of my career to go and play a few franchise tournaments would be class.
Is it right? You went over to New Zealand at one point. Is that how what's it like being a franchise pro in your experience then?
Well, it was weird, because you sort of do what you want. They sort of say to you, look, there's training on now or today or tomorrow at 9 o'clock. If you want to go, go. If you don't, then don't. And I'm thinking, well, all right then. I'll see how I wake up, sort of thing. I went to every session, but you're basically your own boss in a way. You're looking after yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, between red ball cricket and kind of 4-day cricket and white ball cricket, which one would you say you prefer?
There's nothing better than winning a red ball game. So the feeling of winning a red ball game is completely different to winning a T20 game. But I mean, if you're saying to me, would you rather play tomorrow for Trent Rockets or 4-day game? Oh my God, I don't think I should answer it. I like all formats of cricket. I do. I honestly do. I like all formats. I like the feeling of winning a 4-day, because it's 4 days hard work plus 2 training days before. So it's a week of work really that goes into that game. So I quite like the feeling of that. And also I like the buzz of a T20 with 20,000 people there. I like both sides of it. It's difficult for me to say really.
Is it sort of something that you think maybe has changed over the years, and sort of your perception of which one you prefer? Or
well, I mean, there's a lot of money in the game now, isn't there?
As the money goes up, the loyalty.
Well, I'm thinking you fit into this franchise world. You seem like a bit of a mercenary. I like it.
No, it's a bit. Well, I mean, if someone said, I don't know what you guys do for a job, but if someone said to you, we'll give you 4 times the money to do, I don't know, 8 hours less each day. I mean,
I would eat a pencil for £150. I think we're thinking along the same lines here.
Cash is king, isn't it? No, it's not really. That's a bad attitude. But you know what I mean? It's the lifestyle of a T20 cricketer is amazing. Like, you only bowl 4 overs. You don't have to bowl 20 overs a day and then come back the day after and do it again. You know what I mean? That's hard work on the body. So I like all cricket. I like all the formats. That's all I can say with that. I genuinely do. I do. I like. There's pluses and negatives in all of them, but they're all good.
They are different, aren't they? It's like a different. You just get a different feeling out of each of them. I think.
I think 50 overs is the hardest, because it's literally just a prolonged T20 now. People just belt it all the time. You know what I mean? You used to be able to get away with a few quiet overs, put a couple of slips in, a couple of leaves outside off stump. Now you've got people like Jason Roy just caning it from ball 1.
Yeah, when you watch the England team kind of rack up nearly 500 runs, you see them just like the bowler in that must be terrible.
10 overs of power play, that's what it is, isn't it? It's chaos. And then they bring the boundaries in as well. Thinking, what do you expect?
Oh yeah, you expect carnage. Well, speaking about kind of the 4-day game a little bit, and thinking of taking a break. When it comes to the rain, kind of what's the typical thing you do to pass the time? Some people play cards. Some people
probably just gamble, gamble. Play poker, anything really. It depends, because you sort of. You look at the radar and see how long it's set in for, don't you? So you can sort of judge it by that. If you've got a quick 10 minutes, you probably chill out, have a quick cup of tea, and then get yourself revved up again. But if you've got a good 4 hours, you book yourself in, mate. You can have a shower, get yourself nice and clean. Go over to the co-op and get some sweets or something, chill out.
I'm picturing the Nottinghamshire guys with kind of cucumbers on their face. Oh, we're in, lads. We're having a nice day at the spa.
Well, like, you can see you get a nice hot bath. There's like spa baths at Trent Bridge now. There's all sorts of stuff. So you can I just potter around, play a bit of cards, or I don't know, watch a bit of telly, Netflix, or anything really. So,
are there any real poker sharks in the Notts team?
Oh yeah, there's a few good lads. Yeah, we've got quite a good setup at Notts. There's about eight or nine of us that are always playing poker. Gurney's a good poker player. Gurney's good. Hales is a good poker player.
Nice and introverted, poker face. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, he gets his headphones on. You know how you go in poker, you get headphones on. Just keep like
The big glasses, the big wag glasses.
With his hood up like that, going check. You're only playing for a tenner, mate. Calm down. Not. There's a lot less that goes on than what you would think. You know what I mean? There's not people like whatever doing crazy things. Everyone chills out really, because now there's drainage systems as well. So you got to remember that they've spoiled it, haven't they? So you used to get a couple of big puddles and that was it for the day. But now within half an hour, with how good the drainage is in most grounds, it's sort of through and you're back on. So it's good in terms of having more playtime, but you don't get the rain days that you used to. You used to be at like 3 or 4 day washouts. It's like a stag do, wasn't it? When you get to Durham, chaos, absolutely mayhem.
So we've going from temporary rain breaks and cricket. I mean, now you're published author, and also you have your history as a chef. Do you have an idea of what you might be planning to do sort of post cricket? So is coaching something that would be of interest to you, or Celebrity Master Chef? No,
the cooking's gone, mate. I mean, I worked my way up from the back all the way to the frying section at Hooters, and was just about to go to the grill when I signed at Not. So I was going well in that, but the desire's not there anymore. You know what I mean? The flame's gone. I did actually, when I got hit on my head, I did my level 3 coaching. So, I would love to stay in the game, but I don't think it's as easy as what people think. Really, there's not only so many coaching jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, at the minute, I'm in the middle of writing a CV. So I've never done that before. So you lads might be able to help me out. You look like you've written a few CVs.
Max is a pro at that. So he loves grammar and loves rules. So you're in for a treat there.
I suppose that's kind of true. Yeah, I'd happily help you.
That's great. That's class, mate. You can help me out then. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. But yeah, I would love to stay in the game. Initially, I thought about umpiring, but then I thought umpiring every day is a fielding day, isn't it? And I used to love getting off the field, but umpiring, you're all out there for 4 days solid, aren't you?
Yeah.
Every ball. And I think it's quite hard, actually.
Do you have to do 4 days as the umpire? Can you not be like a specialist 2020 umpire?
Oh my God! Imagine that, franchise umpire. That'd be
great.
I think that's the future. I think the umpires, they miss out on good advertising on umpires. I think you should make some great advertising there. Specialist T20 umpires. I think that's what we should do. Oh my
God! I might look into that. See if there's actually a title for that. But I think that's worth looking at. I reckon I could do that. I've got the concentration span probably bang on for that. An hour and a half done.
See? Perfect. See?
This is another one teed up to us by Chris Nash. Some of his questions, I think it's fair to say, haven't gone down that well. We'll address that with him later. Chris Nash asks, what's your favourite song on a night out, and what do you do when it comes on?
Again, this is in the book, so I don't know whether I should answer this.
You don't want to ruin it.
Go on, why not? You know what? If people want to buy it, they buy it, don't they? If people want to read it, they read it. No, this is something I did when I was younger. Remember a song called Now You're Gone by Bass Hunter? I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
So I said when I was younger, I said, right, every time this song comes on, I'm going to tip whatever's in my drink over my head. So I just did it. So I said I was going to do it, so I just did it, and did it for years. And I think by the end of it, lads, I just figured out that lads were waiting until I got like a full pint and going up to the DJ. Requested it, yeah. So then I got stitched up at the end. But I did it for about 10 years, so I did. I stayed good to my word, but that was all it was, really. I remember doing it in front of Mick Newell once, who was obviously the manager, and he was looking at me thinking, what is he doing? And I was like, oh, sorry, I've got to do this. And just like...
Max, put reliable down on the CV.
Yeah. Listen, I'm true to my word, but I'm not really painting myself in a great picture. I have changed a lot. I have matured over the years. I'm actually quite normal now.
I think that's more or less everything we've got for you. Do you want to remind people one more time where they can find your book?
You can find the book on Amazon. I think it's out in shops now, so WH Smith's. All those shops aren't open at the minute, but I think Boris is about to open them. So most bookstores it's in, but Amazon, the Trent Bridge Club shop. So it's out there, and I hope you enjoy it. It'll be a great stocking filler at Christmas, I'm sure.
Absolutely. We like to finish on kind of one final question, and who are your favourite people to actually spend on a cricket field with? So it's a bit different when you're in the change room. Like actually being on the cricket field, is there anyone in particular kind of stands out to you?
James Pattinson. I love being on the field with him because he was an aggressive cricketer, and every time he was either bowling or batting, something was happening. You know what I mean? He moves the game forward so quick. So he was always good fun. Nash is great fun. I mean, the biggest regret I've got with Chris Nash is that I didn't play enough with him. You know, I'd love to have had a career with him because he's a top man. There's not many people like him that are constantly giving energy all day, and he's one of them. He's been great, and it is sad that I've not played as much cricket with him as I'd liked.
Well, I'm sure there's a team in the Sussex second division that would be open to you.
I did say to him, have they signed you as an off spinner? Because club cricket's not good for his batting. These little medium paces that are nipping it around everywhere, that's no good for him. He likes it when it's quick.
So I played at Horsham a couple of times. It's a pretty nice place to bat.
Oh my God! I bowled at Ed Joyce there for 2 days. It's an horrendous place to bowl. I was stood down near them tennis courts thinking, I don't think I want to play cricket anymore. This is just too long. It's not fun. This bloke keeps caning me through the covers all the time.
Oh, love it. Well, Luke, thank you ever so much for joining. Best of luck with the book, and we hope that you're retained by Trent Rockets, and we'll definitely keep an eye out.
Cheers, lads. Thanks a lot.
Morning, everyone. It was not exactly what we wanted to see. The three umpires, Darrell Hare and Terry Prue and Len King, just going out to see what they can do and to see if there's any decision that they might be able to make. At the moment, it's only going to be that they'll make another inspection a little later on when they can say that the has stopped, and then perhaps there might be the chance of a later start. It remains very frustrating.
They're going off. The umpires have had a look, and that is it. That is it. That is it.
That was Luke Fletcher. Thank you very much for joining us, Luke.
No, it was a really nice guy to have on. Some good stories there. Love the fact that he's got such a bromance with Samit Patel and loves the energy there. Max, it's kind of like the similar energy you and I have got. You remind me a little bit of Samit Patel.
I mean, you're a fucking prick, aren't you?
This is the Cricket Podcast. You can find us on the internet. Where can you find us on the internet, Ross?
At the Cricket Pod, Twitter, Instagram. Max, what should they do with that information?
Well, they should like us and follow us and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify or whatever podcast carrier is your preferred. And I'm still reeling from that association with Samit Patel, Ross.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.